Hey, 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 yeah, hey, what a time to be alive. I left them for dead, now I'm living right. No new friends, no new advice. That was high then, but we got bigger heights. We got bigger fish to fry. Bet on myself, then I roll the dice. Man, it ain't a gamble if you know you nice.
Welcome back to Dawn a Dream Podcast. I'm your host, Art. Amen. This is the #1 podcast in Dallas, and we have my special guest here today, Mr. Raj Desai. Did I say it right?
Desai, yeah.
Desai. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. It's a pretty easy drive here, actually. It's about 10, 15 minutes.
Cool. Where side of town are you in?
Near Las Colinas.
Oh,
around,
I literally just came from Las Colinas.
Yeah, Toyota
Okay.
Music Factory.
Yeah.
Around there. That's the closest landmark I can think of near my place.
Yeah, there's not that much out there.
Yeah.
The Ritz-Carlton's out there.
Yeah. You got a Omni by the lake.
I don't even know that. I don't know about that.
Omni Hotel.
There's an Omni in Las Colinas?
I think so, yeah. Pretty sure there is one.
Cool.
Lake Carolyn. You know where that is, right? Right
Mhm.
next to Toyota Music Factory.
Oh, that little... I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like a little
It's like a
park.
pond.
Yeah. The Mustangs, right? The
Yeah, I know what
horse
you're talking
statue
about.
and all that.
That's where Caterpillar's headquarters is.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I want to start by just kind of your background, your history. Where were you born? What was family like?
Okay. Okay. I was born in East Texas, Longview specifically, small town, like smaller than Tyler, where I'm from. I'd like to say that I'm from Tyler, but majority of my teens and then pretty much up until I turned 18 was there. Family, yeah, we were pretty much stuck together like glue. I couldn't get away from them for the most part. So once I got the chance to step away from them, I never looked back and, see them every once in a while now. And yeah, that's pretty much where I came from over there. High school, middle school.
In Tyler.
Yeah, pretty much every single thing. So I couldn't not wait to get away from there.
Interesting. Did you grow up religious?
Yeah. My mom really tried to, hammer that down on us. All the religious thinking. We come from Hindu background, and yeah, they're pretty strict, traditional. I kind of veered away. I was a big troublemaker when I grew up.
Okay.
Back over there in East Texas. I mean, my parents could not stop keeping an eye on me. Like every other day, it's something that I brought up right in front of them. I mean, whether it was in school, with family, always pretty much playing WWE with my cousins,
Yeah.
friends, and stuff like that. But yeah, I could not stop getting in trouble. Yeah, we were pretty strict over there. I mean, they couldn't tame me for long. So.
What was I'll be honest, man. I'm not too familiar with Hinduism. What are some like traditions that people might know or people might not know about?
I'm sure a lot of people know about the reincarnation aspect of it, right? You come back depending on how you live your life, right? In the current life that you're in, basically, whether it's good or bad, that's what you could come back as. I guess it's like a objective opinion, but I mean, you could come back as a bug. I guess the life of a bug must suck. It's short lifespan, or you could come back as a turtle or something, or a human. Try your luck again. I mean, it just depends on how you lived your life, treating other people, and could be how you treated yourself. But it's more so of a belief, right? It's not really a religion. It's just a way of life. So it's not as strict as a lot of these other religions out there. Not that I'm comparing, but do whatever you want. I'm not strictly to one set of beliefs and faiths. I'm open to learning and hearing out everybody's opinions and sides of things. So
Cool, man. So when you say way of life, it's like you have your faith, right? Things that you believe in, and then what are ways that maybe your parents would try, or not you per se, your family, your parents, but families will try to like indoctrinate or control using Hinduism? Because if it's not like a religion, I don't understand how that could even.
No, they just they didn't really use the religion as a means to control how you should live your life.
Oh, they're just strict parents.
Yeah, they're just strict parents,
okay.
pretty much. I think a lot of people can agree on that.
Okay.
Especially if you have immigrant parents, man, they're gonna
Yeah.
try to instill so much things like what you should be when you grow up, who you should hang around with, what you shouldn't eat, what you should or should not drink, whatever it might be. But yeah, no, they didn't use the religion
Okay.
as like
Like a tool.
Yeah, as like a scapegoat or something like that. No, there was just didn't want me hanging around certain people. Didn't want me to do certain things like before a certain age, before I didn't know any better. Me being me, if someone says don't push the red button, then I was the one to push it before they even said it. So I always try to push the envelope, and eventually it turned out to be useful. So
That's interesting. Usually when I speak with people and I kind of understand their background, their histories, they all had a like rebellious phase, and I find out that because I had a rebellious phase, maybe too long of a rebellious phase, but I notice a pattern where people who push the envelope are rebellious, push the red button because they say don't push the red button. It's like, why? What's the worst that can happen? What's the, like, you know what I mean? And then they see the other side and they go, okay, maybe this is where the line is. And then they find out, okay, I know where the line is. I'm going to be on whichever side of the line. Did you find when you pushed that red button, when you started pushing the envelope, did you eventually say, okay, here's somewhere I don't want to end up being? Maybe my parents were right about some stuff?
yeah, I got more disciplined and more reserved, and it depends what it is, right? If it's something worth taking the shot for, like let's say if you did press the button or take the next step in whatever it may be, it could lead to something even better. But like if it's something that like could lead to at my current age, I'm sure I know what's right and wrong, right? If I know not to do this or that, don't stay out too long to party, or don't drink too much, or don't hang out with those people because you could end up in jail, for example. But yeah, I'd say I've learned to discipline myself. Exercise and fitness and nutrition and stuff like that helped me a lot with that stuff. I actually I've just out of curiosity and see how it would feel and for fun, I actually stopped drinking for a little while. And I'm going on like a little over 60 days right now. I have not been on fire more than I have been. Like, man, I wake up a lot more motivated and energized. I don't know what it is. Just wanted to see how long I could go. I think I can go for 100 days. It's felt like nothing so far.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was let's kind of go back then. Did you have a relationship with drinking often?
No, well, the past year and a half, I think I eased up a little bit, wanted to, just see what's around town. I've only been in Dallas for about 5 years, so I'd, go out to eat, whatever it might be, just hanging around some of the day spots around town, proper Dallas, north of Dallas, Fort Worth. It was probably a few drinks a week last year.
Okay, that's not bad.
Now it's just like, if I feel like it.
What were some things that you pushed the envelope on and it ended up being a good thing? And
going out to events that people in my friend groups didn't really frequent.
Okay.
Going to networking events or going to just places where I could meet new people, going to them alone, or you could be going with business affiliates or some of my business partners, or just taking the shot, being the trailblazer, basically. I don't wait for anybody else for the most part to do something. I usually will jump at the chance and then just deal with the consequences, if any, later.
Or the rewards.
Yeah. A lot of people that are in my peer groups are in the medical field. So I had initially planned to go somewhere in that route, but on the other side, they are in business. They're on the hospitality side of things, hotels mainly. And another way that I pushed the envelope in that was I went into residential developments with my younger brother. So we started building single-family homes, and pretty much from there on, it's a wrap. I mean, everything we started doing was different from what our friends were doing.
What was the type of language that growing up your parents would try to tell you to be? Like, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer. Like, what was a doctor?
Yeah, doctor or a lawyer.
I totally guessed it right off the bat.
Yeah, it's usually a common theme with immigrants.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
It's usually one of those three. But I mean, nowadays, man, these trades are making more money than all those professional jobs.
They really are.
Like
plumbers,
lawyers, electricians,
roofers.
roofers. I mean, yeah, pretty much anything that has to do with my field, like all the subcontractors.
Right.
I mean, they even make more than home builders. Some of them do like 6 figures a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely outpacing doctors and lawyers. Like even lawyers are. It's a very cutthroat and competitive field, and I really, I mean, with the way that AI is going, it's just gonna depend on who's gonna exist and who's not in the future. And I think that one is. People say that it's not fully gonna go extinct,
Mm-hmm.
but I think
Lawyers.
yeah, lawyers and a lot of those other professions that are, at risk because of AI advancement. I think they might get a run for their money.
I think that there will be AI is not going to be able to do everything a lawyer does. I think there's still, I don't know.
For now.
For now, we'll see. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you grew up in Tyler. You graduated high school from Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you do after that?
Texas State.
Texas State. And then you go to Texas State, and then is it you're in pre-med or what's that pathway?
No, pre-PT.
Okay.
I was.
And physical therapist.
Yeah, nutrition. Got a little bit of that. I had a business admin, a little bit of accounting and finance and all that stuff. But I mean, whenever I was doing all this stuff, I mean, I was doing a lot of research and stuff while I was in school. In my free time, I took upon myself to get into a discipline of bodybuilding. As soon as I got into college, 2015, I think. Yeah. So I'm going on almost year 9 of that. So because I had the curiosity for it, I was trying to learn all the movements, all the things to do about, physical therapy, manual therapy, and the chiropractics, the nutrition side of things. I mean, they're pretty much teaching me stuff that I was already researching on my own. The business stuff, I mean, it's pretty much in my blood, like 3rd generation in my family. My grandfathers started in the diamond business, and then they came over here. Dad was in hospitality, still in hospitality. Then I went into residential with my brother. But my main goal was, after undergrad was go to physical therapy or chiropractics, build some type of hybrid of gym and the therapy side of things or chiropractics. But pandemic hits, I'm seeing all these big gyms and stuff like that, filing bankruptcy or, having trouble bringing clients in. I mean, half of them can't even open because of all these restrictions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, man, I'm underwriting this stuff, right? In the middle of all this, I'm like, let's see when I could do this and how I could do this and how much it would cost. And obviously it didn't make any sense. I mean, it was not, it was the financials of this stuff it's not penning basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I already know what I need to do. I mean, the asset itself is in a building, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's real estate. Which I didn't realize at the time, and I also didn't realize what I was doing was underwriting. Like, doing all the numbers and seeing expenses and, hiring, marketing, all this other stuff, how much will it cost. But the building, yeah, it's real estate. I didn't realize it. I didn't know what type of real estate it was, but then I realized after doing some more research that it's pretty much retail, triple net leases, stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't be owning the building, which I wasn't too familiar with at the time either, but I'm like, why would I do this and just run the business when I could just be the landlord and own the building? So from then, it's a wrap.
So then, this is your thought process. What was like your next steps to take action on that thought?
So we did not get into triple net, but I mean, that's probably going to be the end goal. I probably won't go own and operate a business, but we started developing in 2018. It's going almost 7 years now. We started from the ground, literally up, and started developing homes in East Texas. We went back over there, familiar grounds, and we know the people. We knew that labor was a lot cheaper over there. We knew where everything came and went pretty much. So instead of taking on this beast over here in Dallas, it's like the Wild West here if you're going to jump right in, which I'm not too against if you're partnering with someone. But, yeah, we basically started residential developments over there.
Okay.
Try to learn the ins and outs, doing deals, all cash, raising capital, utilizing debt, putting up our own credit. But, yeah, we did trial and error through that way. We learned from other developers. We learned from other professionals as well. We have lawyers, accountants, just counting on each other, myself and my brother. Like, I couldn't do half the stuff that I do without him. So we started from that and branched out from there, pretty much. I mean, if you can tame single family, it's a good place to start.
How did you and your brother decide to get into business? What was your relationship with him like?
Oh man, we've pretty much been through everything. I mean, we haven't left each other's side still. I mean, we still growing up, we were always together. In college, we lived together. We were roommates in college. And then after we moved to Dallas, he came to Dallas a little bit before me. I stayed with my parents for a little while after college, and then we both moved together here in Dallas. But yeah, we have not left each other's side. But yeah, we butt heads here and there in business. Every once in a while, we have our creative differences. You know, he wants to do this type of backsplash. I want to do this type of countertop. I mean, we're always going to have our own differences, but usually we settle the matter and we keep it pushing, because you're not going to get anywhere if it's going to be stuck on the kitchen side of the house. We got the rest of the house to build. So,
How old is he?
He's 2 years younger than me. Yeah,
Okay.
25.
And are you like the leader in sense, or is it like how does that like relationship go when it comes to trailblazing, kind of like you mentioned?
I think he has taken from me as well. Whenever I do try to carve out my own path, he has definitely done his own.
Okay.
He's done a lot of cool and unique things, side hustles and stuff like that, just like how I have. I've ventured out and tried a lot of different things on my end, held a lot of different, whether it's throwing capital into different types of investments or jobs or whatever it may be. I mean, he's done a lot of cool, unique things too. He actually, he's bigger on the crypto side of things.
Okay.
So what he did was he put a antenna. I think it was an antenna. I can't remember the difference. Antenna or satellite? Satellite, I'm pretty sure. Stuck one. He got a roofer to bring one of those things up on top of our house and drill it on top of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing mines crypto passively. So that was one way that he thought outside the box. Another one was same process pretty much, but he has it in his car. It's like a dash cam. So while he's driving, he's pretty much mining crypto. So going back and forth from projects for the most part, he's making money off of doing his day job, basically.
Interesting.
But some of those cool ways. He does. He's done options trading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar at all with stuff like that, but I know he can smoke me in that. I know he can smoke me in crypto. Like, I'm not the best at all that stuff. He's the one to talk to about all that. So yeah, he's definitely carved out his own path as well.
You mentioned you started developing and building in East Texas, and that's where things started, I guess, taking off for you.
Yep.
So once things started taking off, what did you do? Like, define the success for you. Is it now you're making income, you're able to invest in other things, you're able to, like, travel? What was that success like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've really embraced the success side of things. Like, I personally like to practice delayed gratification.
Okay.
So I do. I'm pretty tough on myself, and I don't really travel that much. Although a lot of people tell me I should get out more, I should travel more. But I'm like, listen, my goals are different. But I pretty much, I mean, if I'm making $1 here or there, I just imagine that I haven't made a single thing yet, and I just roll it right back into real estate. But from new construction, got into flips here, getting into multifamily over here in Dallas, branching out. We've got a lot of, we've discussed RV parks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple other cool ventures that are coming up. My brother's planning to get into small business, so I plan to help him out with all that stuff. I'm mainly the guy when it comes to raising capital and finding deals. Not even finding deals anymore. That's becoming very time consuming too. So I prefer to talk to people, one, and two, raising capital. It's very exciting and fun for me to do because while I'm raising capital, I'm just meeting new people anyway. So the raising capital part is just, it's just a part of the business. It just comes as it comes. I mean, sometimes I get to a pace where there's too many people now. Like, I got to hold off on that end too. So I can't, sometimes there's just never enough. Sometimes there's just too much of something. So maybe I'll have an influx of deals. Sometimes I'll have an influx of investors, and I might be missing one of them. But get back on point, the delayed gratification, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't want to blow all my money, basically. Just keep it going. I mean, we're in our 20s, so We got a whole life ahead of us, hopefully. But yeah, I do want to travel. I have a long list of travel places, bucket list stuff, and a lot of people be inviting me out to all these places, and I'm like, oh man, because the airport's right behind me too.
Yeah.
I live right behind the airport.
Yeah, you're right by the airport.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, all those
DFW
flights,
International, man.
I see all the flights coming and going. I'm like, man, one day
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing it regularly.
Where's your number one spot that you want to go to?
Number one's a tough one, man. I want to go to a lot of places. I don't want to say any of these honeymoon spots either.
Bora Bora.
Yeah, I mean, everyone could go there. Like it's somewhere that a lot of couples decide to go to. Maybe Morocco. I just got back from Mexico City, so.
Mexico City, that's a place I really want to go to. I have not been there yet.
Yeah.
How was it?
It wasn't bad. It was I think we overextended our stay a little too long. I was there for like 10 days.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect really, and I hadn't traveled internationally in a very long time. It had been, man, I can't even remember, at least 6-7 years.
Wow.
Had to have been.
I think from the short conversations we've had, you're very disciplined. Delayed gratifications, 10-day trip, it's a long time.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot, because even whenever I travel, like 5 days is a lot. So it's more like 3-4 days, I'm good.
Yeah, as soon as I hit like day 3 or 4, I'm like, I kind of want to get back home and
Yeah.
start working again.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had a good Wi-Fi, and we didn't have air conditioning though. In the Airbnb, there was no air conditioning, so we were dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe not do that long of a trip down south again, unless there's air conditioning. Somewhere else, I might do that, but we'd have to like hop places, hop destinations.
One spot for 10 days is a lot. What was some of the best things that you experienced while you're there? Is that your first time in Mexico?
Not in Mexico. We went to some of the vacation spots a couple of times with family and friends. I've been to Cabo, Cozumel. I think I've been to Cancun. Or it might have just been Cabo and Cozumel. That's about it. Yeah. Those don't really count. Like, Mexico City is completely different from all those vacation touristy spots. I liked it. I definitely would research the type of foods you should eat there because, man, we were all getting sick over there. Like, after a few days, we all felt that one. So, yeah, you definitely have to take, like, a manual of, like, what you should and should not eat, and then don't even touch anything but bottled water, bottled water or bottled drinks, stuff like that in general. Hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon in Mexico?
That was my most favorite thing on there. Just
okay.
Yeah. That's the only thing I was excited for, and it definitely delivered.
Cool. So you're really good at raising capital, or you said you really like raising capital.
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty decent at it, yeah.
So how did that skill develop? Like because a lot of people would love to learn how to do that. That's a valuable skill.
Yep.
What was the first step? What was some of the failures? What was that storyline like?
Let's see. I can't even remember the first time I asked someone for capital, right? Because a lot of people feel like it's asking or begging or, you're like nagging someone for it. So that's a lot of the negatives that people might think of it. But in my field specifically, I mean, you're giving the partner a return. So it's a venture that you're doing together. Like, you're a team. So you're not just taking the capital and running, or you're not just taking the capital and, just giving their initial invested capital back. You're giving them a return. So whether it's 50-50 or 90-10, I mean, they're getting something for it. And maybe you'll have a lifelong connection with them, or maybe you'll just have an investment partner long term, whatever it may be. You might become best friends. But it's pretty unique experience. I think a lot of people have it in them. It just depends on what you're raising it for. It can definitely get you can get in the weeds with it, but in real estate, I feel like what you're going to deal with is a lot of no's. What I have dealt with is a lot of no's, whether it's from banks or hard money lenders for fix and flips, or whether it's your friends or family or strangers. I mean, I've definitely had across the board all those people work with me or just say no to me. But I mean, it's like clockwork to me. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the discipline side of the exercise and fitness and stuff like that that just translated into the way that I work in my businesses and raising capital and all that stuff. But yeah, I've never really been bothered by it. I know a lot of people do get disappointed. They get frustrated with the fact that they're not getting anywhere. But eventually, I think the results speak for themselves. You just got to keep on adding to it and keep pushing forward. Don't let any of that stuff demotivate you if no one's going to work with you. I mean, someone's bound to say yes.
Why do you think people get discouraged from no's when, like you said, if you just don't stop, you're going to get a yes, and all you need is one yes?
Yep.
So why do you think people get discouraged where you're not getting discouraged? I know you're related to fitness and the discipline. Is it because maybe people are not in shape or whatever? Expand on that.
Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot of things. It could be with their upbringing. It could be how they see themselves in the mirror physically. It might be a mental thing.
Identity.
It could be maybe they were given everything growing up, and then now it's like, oh, you're in the real world. You can't have everything just by asking for it. I mean, you're going to get a lot of no's. It's, I'm sure you hear a lot of people say that, this country's right now, people our age and younger are, they're being raised pretty soft.
Yeah.
A lot of our mentors will say that, they come from all these tough and, rags to riches backgrounds and stuff like that. And they're like, man, there's a lot of snowflakes walking around.
Yeah.
I can agree with that, but there's definitely a lot of people out there that are like you and I that try to chase whatever their end goal is, and they won't take no for an answer. And I think it mainly has to do with their upbringing for the most part.
I agree. I think it's the upbringing.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes it easier for us?
No, I wouldn't say easier. It definitely is an advantage.
Okay.
But yeah, I think those people also have advantages in their own ways too. Like, for example, I might be confident in what I already do and like doing, but I might have my weak spots. Like growing up, not the best at public speaking. I'll tell you that right now. There's a funny story about in some of my first college classes. I had to take not really a public speaking, but a business speech class or something like that. And it was remote. It was for like one semester. And funny thing, I was so shy to do that thing. And since it was at home, I had to give it to my parents. And man, I couldn't even do that. Like I could not meet the time limit for that. But I mean, now I just have to embrace it. I mean, yeah. What I say a lot to my parents and a lot of my friends and stuff like that are like, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So I definitely had to, get out of my comfort zone with that. And I'm sure that skills like that stuff, I mean, people definitely have advantages over me for. I'm not going to say that I'm a jack of all trades or that I know how to do every single thing. I definitely like building my teams. I know who goes where. I know how to delegate. So pretty good skill set that I have. And then I let everybody else handle everything.
So the speech you did was a remote class, and you had to do it to your mom and dad.
Yeah, I had to get it recorded. So my brother's on the side recording the whole thing, and man,
and you're nervous.
Oh yeah, I was.
That's so.
We could
funny.
talk off pod about.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't want to get to
that
it.
one, but yeah, man, I could not. I mean, ever since I was young, I could not I remember, you know how you have to do like the what's it called, the plays and stuff like that. In school. Like, I could not look at the crowds growing up.
Do you start laughing or do you get nervous?
No, I look straight at the mic.
Okay.
Like, I'm not looking up at anybody. I'm looking straight at the mic and at the mic, only looking cross-eyed the whole time. And, man, I was, like, so embarrassed. My voice is shaking. Like, I can't stand still. I mean, over time I realized the standing still part had to do with ADHD. But, yeah, definitely. I was definitely very shy growing up.
It's funny because I've been doing more and more public speaking, and what I've realized about myself is the first time my voice is a little shaky. I don't really know what to do with my posture, things like that. And then second time around, I'm kind of like, I could do better.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay, kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid. Same thing with the podcast. The first time I got on camera, I was really nervous, but I still did it.
Yeah.
And if you go and watch that first podcast, it was me and my friend Justin. My guest canceled on me last minute.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the show's going to go on. I don't care. I'm not going to wait for nobody else.
Yep.
Justin, let's go. And so we just came, and it was like we just talked about it. And you know, our voices are shaky and things like that. But it's a muscle. It gets better.
Yeah, I mean, usually you just ignore the cameras. Like,
Yeah,
you just forget that they're there. You're right about the shaky part at the beginning. I mean, I remember doing a podcast that I did. My brother would come here and there, but he'd be behind the camera, just being there as an audience member pretty much. And I was doing it with one of my friends. I think we barely got over 20 episodes, but just goofing off. We didn't really know how to start the podcast most of the time. I mean, we were just blurting out random stuff, talking about random events that would happen, music or whatever's going on in our lives. But yeah, usually just natural. It's like muscle memory.
That's usually how like our minds operate, though. It's like I know I'm thinking of a million different things at once, and when I'm with my boys, it's like we do episodes with the boys where it's just like whatever we want. Back to public speaking, though. If I have, because you said you try to avoid looking at the audience.
Yeah.
If I look at the audience, sometimes I'll just start bust out laughing.
Yeah.
So it's almost worse because I'll see like people's I know's faces, and I don't know why. I just want to laugh. Like it just makes it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a better response to have than just completely going blank or like walking off the stage or something, because you see a lot of like C-suite level people like forget about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, at these like big professional speaking events, sometimes they're getting paid for it. Sometimes they are actually paying to be there, and they just walk away. Crazy. It's
do you know? I don't know if you know. I don't know either. I heard this on a podcast, I think, but why people get nervous speaking in front of large crowds is like back, I guess, when we were hunter gatherers. If let's say you did something bad, I guess the tribe would isolate you and all go against you. So then you're on one side by yourself, and the tribe is either confronting you or harassing you for whatever you did. So then when it comes to public speaking, you're almost there kind of like defending yourself against the crowd. So I think that's like the like biological reason why we might get nervous.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that. It's funny. I heard something similar. I think it was from my parents or somebody in my friend group. I can't remember, but I feel like there was a thing. They told me that in India back in the days, if you were part of like a small village, if you did something wrong, like you did a crime or you messed with somebody's family member, you stole, maybe harm somebody physically or whatever it might be, they'd run you out of the village. Like, you are gone. You're not part of this area or place anymore. Like, you're basically shunned from the place. So, similar type of thing. Yeah.
And it's almost like they do that to prevent other people doing it. It's like, we're going to make an example out of you because that's our standard.
Yeah.
And if we let this slide with you, we're going to let it slide with anyone else that, tries to tiptoe that line or whatever it may be. All right, man. So, okay. So you're doing real estate, you're raising capital, you're going to people, you're getting no's, and you start getting yeses. Like, were you ever like a salesman? Because you have to be able to sell. I'm going to go, I need some money. I'm going to go invest your money and bring you back profit, or I'm going to make sure your investment is worth it. How are you able to sell that and provide value to someone who you maybe have not met before?
So I was not a salesman of any kind. I can say, though, that I had a lot of arguments with my parents. So, like, if something didn't go my way, man, we'd argue until like 1 or 2 a.m. that day. And then maybe I'd get a yes the next day, maybe I didn't, and I just have to take it. I think that prepared me a little bit. No, I think it was just doing it. I think I just started doing it. Eventually, I'm just like sick of like reading from all these people and seeing them attempt it, seeing videos, reading from books or whatever it might be, reading articles, and I just wanted to do it and just experience it. And then denial is a pretty good way to grow. So, I mean, I just messed up. Yeah, people are afraid of looking like an idiot, and I actually tell my brother that, and people that we've worked with as well, whether they're partners and investors, or whether they are contractors or whatever it might be, or if I'm just giving out advice to friends. I mean, you just can't be afraid of looking like a fool, basically. I mean, whenever you're talking to professionals, if it's lawyers, accountants, like, ask dumb questions, and then ask for dumb things too. It doesn't really matter what it applies to. Sometimes people will make sense of it, and they might give you a yes anyways. So they might be just as curious as you. How eager
That's
you
good.
are.
That's good, man. I really appreciate that, because I like asking a lot of questions, and I don't care if I sound dumb. But what I hate is whenever, maybe I'm in a group full of people and I'll ask a question and someone's like, ugh, or like they make like a comment. It's like, I don't care, but I just hate that. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'll ask the dumb question anyways, because I don't really care, because I'm trying to progress.
Mm.
But then someone will make a comment.
Yeah, usually some people aren't really trying to be in the role of a mentor or try to be someone that you can get advice from. I mean, they just couldn't be bothered sometimes. It just depends with me as well. I mean, I'm not the guy to talk to for a fast food restaurant, but you want to talk to me about anything real estate related, or maybe it's finance or estate planning or something like that. I'm sure you can relate on that end as well. Come pick my brain every once in a while. Don't take my whole day, but
Yeah.
you can ask me every once in a while. If you know me already, then yeah, reach out. I mean, even if it's on social media. I usually cold call, cold DM people all the time, whether it's subcontractors or other professionals in my field, or if they can't help directly, maybe they can help indirectly. So yeah, I'm not afraid of talking to people anymore. Like,
That's powerful.
what's the worst thing that can happen? A no.
And then you'll see them again.
Yeah.
It's a small city.
Yeah.
It's funny. So what is the real estate market like in Dallas right now? What are some highs and lows that you're experiencing?
So there are pockets, in my experience, that are seeing slowing, but overall, what I've seen, I feel like Dallas is still on fire. Compared to every other big city in Texas, Dallas has not stopped. Like, everything else is receding. It's pulling back a little bit, but yeah, Dallas is still growing. A lot of people are still moving here over the past few years. I mean, it's been getting crammed here. I don't know how long are you a Dallas native?
Been here since I was 2.
2 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, my grandfather lived here about 20 years ago, really close to where I live currently. But since then, no recollection of obviously what the real estate market's like then. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, 4 or 5 years old, something like that. But now, I mean, since I moved here, I mean, I can definitely feel how crammed it is.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot more dirtier. Everywhere you go, there's a lot of messes, and highways a lot more crazier now. I
Yeah.
used to like driving. I tell that to a lot of people that I meet every once in a while. That I used to like driving, and now it's like, yeah, I don't want to risk driving anymore. I don't really enjoy it as much, because there's just so much potential of getting hurt or damaging your vehicle or something like that, dealing with an insurance claim or something. That all these people from all these states that have all these different driving habits and laws and stuff like that, and it's kind of hard to get around, but I mean, can't avoid it.
And auto insurance is a completely different beast right now.
Mm-hmm.
Rates are going up because there's a lot more accidents, a lot more crime, a lot more things like that. Okay, so Dallas is a hot market. I mean, I see it. People are moving here every day. Anytime I go and speak with someone, they're not from Dallas.
Yep.
They just got here, or they've been here for the past couple of years, or they're out networking because they don't know anyone here because they just moved here. So it's phenomenal for business.
Mm-hmm.
It is phenomenal for business. What are some things you are doing to make sure you capitalize on the hotness of the market?
Let's see, what am I doing? I am still taking meetings. I'm still talking to people. I'm still getting out there, networking. I'm not stopping the growth of my network. I mean, I'm pretty much every market is fair game for me for the most part. I'm not in office or self-storage. But, I mean, I'm not really seeing too much of a downtrend anywhere. Not stopping. I mean, look at where we are. We're doing a podcast right now. Like, I'm not going to let whatever's going on in the economy as a whole stop me. What I've personally learned, and what a lot of other investors and mentors say, is whenever it's a downtrend, like, people should be pushing on the gas
throttle.
pedal, on the throttle a lot more. I mean, if you can take advantage of a market like this, it doesn't even have to be in real estate. It could be in anything. You could say in raising capital specifically. Like, if you can raise capital in a down market, I mean, you could take any market.
Imagine what you could do in a hot market.
Yeah, you could do it with your hands tied behind your back and while your eyes are closed, and whatever other analogy you want to use. But yeah, it's I I think you can definitely conquer pretty much anything. If you're working right now, if you're hustling right now and hammering away, yeah, this is definitely where the winners are made right now.
I agree. I love what the market is actually doing right now, because it's a lot of stuff is like on fire in a good and bad way.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're able to, make something of it, man, it's just fun. If someone is wanting to get into real estate and let's say they don't have money, what do you recommend they do?
Partner with someone.
Okay.
I feel like people say that a lot, though.
Yeah.
They say partner with someone or find a mentor or something like that. But I'm seriously for going to some of these events or going on LinkedIn or looking up a construction company or investment firm or something like that, working with them, for them. A lot of people are afraid to work for free. I know a lot of people don't want to work for free, but that doesn't mean work for free full time. Like, you could still be doing something else, and then, they don't want to sacrifice their weekends or their evenings. They're not willing to do stuff like that. And it goes back to that snowflake conversation. These old guys are talking about people our age that aren't willing to do it. I mean,
brother,
you got to do it. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. Like, the winners are gonna outwork you. You have to outwork the competition.
I love your language, man. It's because like people are wanting whatever it is they want, their dreams, goals, house, car, wife, whatever it is, and but at 5 p.m. or whatever time they're like, I'm done for the day. It's like we got a whole another day left. We got so much time. We got weekends, and it is what it is. So how do you go about finding these mentors, investment firms? Like what is something that you have either done yourself, or because I know you said you're cold DMing, cold calling. Like what is that process like? Like break it down to where like we're what is it, step by step? What are you doing?
I don't really have like a method. I'm always, and it depends what it is. I do have checklists and stuff like that and systems for my business side of things. But if I'm talking to people, I mean, there's not really a script I go off. If it doesn't feel natural, then I'm not doing it. So I'm very big on that. If I can either, first and foremost, you got to be able to provide value. You got to be able to offer yourself up and give more than you're willing to take. And if you can show people in the real estate field that, then they'll invite you with open arms. So I definitely have done that personally myself, whether I am being reached out to by people for advice or for guidance. And I've definitely been on the other end where I'm reaching out to people to give whatever I can. Or sometimes I have asked for whatever it may be too, but it's usually on a partner level.
Right.
So, it's a pretty equal trade-off for the most part. And, you'd be surprised. A lot of people say yes. They're pretty open in this field. Like, they're not going to say no. What I've seen personally is the people that are in real estate that aren't willing to help you and that, keep you out of whatever inner circle people might assume there is, they're not really in it. They're not really, they're not really the type of people that I'm telling you to go talk to. That's not the ideal person that I'm talking about in our field. I mean, the ideal mentor and partner and someone that you're supposed to look up to would want to grow with you,
right,
and want to uplift you. I don't really know what to call the person that's turning you away or not trying to help out any way they can. I guess it's just a bad person, but
they're filtering themselves out of your life. They're not like you said. They're not an ideal person you want to grow with. So they're inadvertently filtering themselves out of your life because it's not someone you can grow with.
Yeah, I don't know what it could be. I mean, it could be because they want to hoard all the knowledge or capital or real estate deals and stuff like that to themselves. I don't know what it might be, but I mean,
scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset.
Yeah, a lot of people say this is a people business. I mean, it's kind of hard to do that if you're just not going to work with anybody.
It's the funniest thing, man. I'll talk to people, and I'll talk about business or podcast or whatever, and they'll tell me they got something going on, and but they won't they'll be secretive with the information, and it's like I'm not trying to steal the information, bro. I'm trying to see more. I want to learn more about what you're doing. So if there's any way I can help or provide value. And like what you said, it doesn't make sense for us to do business if it's not win-win. It's like I would not want to do that to somebody. It's like I want to see you win. Obviously, I want to win as well. So it's like we both lift up together. But people will just like not just hoard information, but they won't even market themselves. It's like people don't know what you do. How could you get business done if people don't even know what you do?
Yeah, there's I mean, a lot of people also aren't that technologically savvy in this field, whether they're young or old. And then sometimes they just might not have the communications or people skills. And I've seen that as well at networking events. I've seen that at conferences that I've been to. And I mean, maybe it just takes some time to get out of their comfort zone, or maybe they just need to work on it on their own time. But yeah, you're going to see people from all walks of life. On that part where you said, there might be gatekeeping or whatever it might be, people have told me that I gatekeep. I'm like, nah, I just don't want to spend time,
Really?
talking to someone that isn't really going to take action or something.
Yeah.
They just ask me questions that I feel like they're not going to utilize.
Yeah.
I don't know what their intentions are, but there's also people that you might want to get information from in the real estate field where it might be sensitive information. Maybe they're trying to buy a deal or something like that. And, certain information.
I think that's different, right? That's obviously pertaining to a specific deal you're trying to close. The same thing with insurance. It's like, why would I speak on who I'm doing business with if I'm working with someone? But people that, I guess, don't develop that communication skill, it's going to make it easy for people that do have that skill.
Yep.
Like, it kind of back to what I was saying, it's like, I feel like it gets easier. It's easier now than ever to build.
Yeah, I tell that to my parents a lot, man, specifically. Like, whether it relates to them or, their friends or family or whoever it might be. A lot of people, they're outdated on the technological side of things. And, if you can't keep up with the trends and stuff like that, you're going to get outworked and, they're going to take business away from you. So, and yeah, it is the easiest time to grow and learn. And, information is a lot more accessible than it was back then, and I talk about this regularly. There's no excuse to basically make it.
There's none. What are you excited about right now?
Well, I was excited to do this podcast, first and foremost. I mean, I still am. I was excited up until we got here, and now we're delivering. So
I love it.
It's the energy's still there. Let's see. What am I excited about? I'm excited for my future. I don't know what it has to hold, but I know it's there. These past, I'd say 7-8 years, pretty much ever since I started discipline, just practicing discipline in just about every aspect of my life. I knew that one day, whatever it might be, whatever my goal is, whether it's raising a family, spending the rest of my life with my significant other, spending more time with my parents and brother, having a house, car, pets, or being very successful in business. I knew whether it's not an image in my head or it is or not an image in my head, I knew that it was gonna be, it's coming. So I don't know where it comes from. It's just a fire and just the belief inside me where whether it was happening daily and I'm seeing the progress or not, I knew that, and still do to this day, I know that I'm headed for bigger and better places. So I'm just excited for the future.
I love that answer, man. I know there's some stuff you want to also talk about. What's on your mind? What questions you got for me? What can I do to serve you?
I actually got some. Well, serve-wise, we've discussed behind the scenes a little bit.
You want to get me into real estate?
Oh well, yeah, that too. If you want to, sure. I'm always fair game for all that stuff, and anything you want me to open up about and talk about, we can definitely do that. But
I'm always open, brother.
Specifically, I wanted to talk to you about. We didn't really talk that much where we first met at the real estate meetup in Uptown, right? Uptown Dallas. A little bit more about yourself. You said you were an engineer, right? Yeah.
So I went to the University of North Texas. Let me back up. Let me just tell the story from the kind of beginning. So I was born in Kurdistan. Kurdistan.
Kurdistan?
You ever heard of it? Probably haven't.
The Kurd word I have heard.
Yeah, so
Kurdish.
Kurdistan. Yeah, we're Kurdish. So it's not a country.
Okay.
So it's the largest group of people without a country, kind of like Palestinians. We're Kurdish.
Yeah.
And so I was born in northern Iraq. I got an Iraqi passport, but I'm not Iraqi. I'm not Arabic. I don't speak Arabic. But Kurdistan is in Iraq, Turkey, Syria, and Iran, basically a war zone. I grew up, or was born there. Mom and dad were like, this is not where we want to raise a kid. Let's immigrate to the U.S. And we were lucky enough that we were able to come here. I had my second birthday in Guam on the trip over. Typical immigrant refugee story. Came here with $200 in a dream. Lived, pretty modestly. Didn't really understand why we were poor. I didn't really know we were poor when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And then you kind of start growing up, and you're like, hey, Mom, I want this. I want to play basketball. I want to do football. I want to do like this. And it's like, well, we just don't do that. And I'm like, we don't do that. Like, I was like, okay, I guess we don't do that. And they're always working, so it's not like they had time to drop me off at like these extracurricular activities or anything like that. And so they were working like not so great jobs. Then my dad started working for the United States military as a contractor. So he speaks a bunch of different languages. So he went back to Kurdistan to basically be a translator and fight the bad guys in my eyes. So he made most of his money that way. And with that money, he was able to buy my mom a house, send me to college, put some money in the bank. So, our dream is to be an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, right? So I picked engineers, the easiest one out of all of them. I was a rebel. I was a rebel kid, so, high school, college, all that stuff, partied, things like that. And so I would go become an engineer at UNT, get a mechanical engineering degree, got a bunch of certifications, nuclear certification, machining manufacturing certification. And I wasn't like the best student in the world. It was like when I tried, I could get A's, but I didn't want to try. So, I was like, let me apply myself. This is like, I'm basically a failure of a kid in my parents' eyes when I'm just partying, and I didn't go directly to college after high school. So I was like, okay, I probably got to get my shit together. So ended up going to college, getting a degree, and that's when I slowly started believing in God again, because it was like I was on the verge of graduation. I didn't have a job lined up. So it was kind of like the fear of like, oh, high school is ending and I'm not going to college. It's like college is ending, I'm not getting a job. So it was like that fear kind of recirculating, and I applied for a whole bunch of places, didn't get any callbacks, spoke with one person at a job fair, led to an internship, landed like a great job. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started making a little bit of money right out of college, and it was the first time in my life I had some money, and I was like, okay, what should I do with this money? And I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I want to travel the world, all this stuff, right? And I'm like, what's the right thing to do? So I want to invest in myself. So I'm like, okay, let me invest in myself. So I go back to school. So I go get my MBA. And I'm working nights and weekends getting my MBA while becoming an engineer. So I'm like working a lot, and then I get my MBA, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to get a big raise. So I go to my boss, and I'm like, hey, I got my MBA. Can I get a raise now? And she's like, that's not how this works. And I'm like, that was one of the moments where I was like, why the fuck did I just do this then? I was like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
And it just like really like rubbed me the wrong way for all the work I've done the past like 10 years or whatever, for like everything. And then I switched jobs and started making low six figures, and it's shut me up for a little bit, and start getting more degrees, realizing that getting these certificates is like, I heard this thing the other day. It's like a certificate, or it was last night, this guy named Alex Waller, I was having cigars with. He goes, because he had a bunch of certificates, a bunch of degrees, and he goes, certificates are as good as toilet papers. You could just wipe your ass with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100%. I have like, my resume is stacked. Like when it comes to like, making your parents proud, the resume is stacked.
Yeah.
So I'm getting more degrees, and then I realize, okay, where are the people? Where's my future, right? If I stay at this company, develop, become a VP, become a director, okay, I see where their office is, I see who they are, I see the lifestyle they live. Okay, they're making maybe 200, 250 if we're like pushing it. That's before taxes. So, okay, I see their life. They're always working. They got some vacation time. I just don't see the life that I want to live. And that's if I'm with this company for the next 30 years and if everything goes the right way. So I'm like, dude, this just doesn't make sense to me, man. So I started doing roofing. And this is the first time I get into sales, like really, really.
Yep.
I was a server for a bit, or I was a server actually for 6 years. That was my first job ever. And I start doing roofing, and I'm knocking doors, doing getting a couple deals here and there. And so I'm working as an engineer by day, and I'm roofing at nighttime, so after work. So that tells you where the state of America's at, where people who go get good jobs, they still got to go do a side gig. They have to, and that's majority of people.
Yeah.
So I started doing roofing. It's just I realized that, okay, in business, you in the beginning it sucks and there's a lot of work. Like you said, you work with no pay.
Yeah.
But eventually, you knock enough doors down, the referrals start coming to you.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is how businesses ran. It's gonna suck for a couple months, maybe a year, couple years at most, right? But eventually, I'm gonna be making a lot of money because I saw a lot of my friends doing roofing, who didn't go to college, who were the party guys or whatever, and I was like, I put all this work in, but they're making way more money than me and they have more time than me. So I was pissed off. I was like really pissed off, and they're still good friends and all that. Like, but it's like, why am I at this desk on a Tuesday on a beautiful day, and they're in Mexico? So it was just like it just didn't make sense to me. So I started doing that, and then hit up one of my old friends, Tyler. He was at the roofing company. He got me in, started doing that, and then he abruptly left. And I follow this guy named, you might know Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah.
And then this guy named Matt Sapala. Have you heard of Matt Sapala by chance?
Maybe.
So Matt Sapala is Patrick's #1 sales guy.
Oh, I think I have. Yeah.
So Matt is like.
Does he have a Rolls Royce?
Yes.
I think I have seen.
Yeah. So Matt, I've known about both of them. Been watching their videos religiously. They're where I get my content on development and news and money and finance and all that stuff. So I've been watching them. And then one day, I just see Tyler smoking cigars with Matt. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with Matt Sapala?
Yeah.
And he goes, come out and meet him. So I come out, I meet him, I hear what he has to say, talks to me about insurance. I had no fucking clue that life insurance was so powerful.
Yep.
And I was like, let's fucking go. Got my license. This was January 14th, 2023. I remember the day. Changed my life.
Yeah.
So that's a summary of kind of my story.
Yeah, you didn't really touch on the insurance side of things yet. How long have you been doing that for?
Started January 14th, 2023.
Last year.
Yeah.
Okay, a little over a year.
Yeah, a year and a half in.
A year and a half, yeah. Have you met Pat?
I haven't met him in person. I've FaceTimed him. I've been on calls with him. I've been at events where he's speaking, but I haven't had a intimate conversation.
One-on-one.
Yeah, not yet.
Man, yeah. I feel like he's have you heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Of course.
I feel like he's the rich dad
Yeah.
in my personal life story, but I definitely look up to him. I like a lot of the things that he has to say and what he shares. I think a lot of people could take a lot of good things from him.
100%, man. So what I like about my mentors right now, like Matt and my direct mentor, his name is Curtis Eatman. They are they have Pat on. They text Pat regularly. Yeah. So I'm one person away from Pat.
That's what I was thinking right now before you invited me to the podcast. I'm like, technically I'm an arm's length away from all these people that are affiliated with your insurance company.
100%.
Whoever they're affiliated with now, it's like the Illuminati people that are up there.
Bro, but it's crazy to me that all it took was someone just inviting me to meet someone. And I have weekly calls with Matt, and I see him multiple times a week. Yep. And it's just I can go ask him a question. Yep. It's it's crazy. So it's the same the language you were speaking earlier. It's mentorship. It's guidance. It's being able to someone to say no to you. Yeah. But yeah, man. It's crazy to think that I'm so close to these type of people, and I have them in my corner.
Yeah, the friend thing. How long have you known your friend?
Tyler?
Yeah,
I've known Tyler since high school.
Since high school, yeah. It's great whenever maybe you. I don't know how much time you spent with him before the insurance thing, but being able to connect again where you're working in the same field is pretty cool and genuine and rare. And then another thing is bringing people on board with you, no matter what you're building, who eventually become that same level, like a friendship or family or whatever it may be. It's pretty cool. It's eye opening. I like seeing a lot of it. It's really hard to come by, but man, when you have it, you do not want to let it go.
Bro, it is so with Tyler and I, me and him, we'd always we're like not like the best of friends, but we were friends. I gave him rides home from high school every now and then.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Marines and I went to college. So we kind of went separate ways, but he would come back in town from the Marines. We'd go grab a beer here and there. He started dating a girl. I started dating a girl. We started doing our thing. We'd go to like concerts here and there. So we would always like our timelines would intertwine like at the most random spots, right?
Yeah.
And then he started doing well in roofing. And I reached out to a couple people who were like my friends, and I'd asked for like, hey, could y'all just put me on roofing? Just connect me with the owner so I can, try to do this part time or whatever. Yeah. And a lot of people said no. So Tyler was like, 100%, dude, I got your back. Like I was like, freaking cool. And then he was hanging out with Matt, smoking cigars, and I was like, dude, he just invited me out again. Mm-hmm. It's like, bro, he's always been like the coolest person ever. And then kind of like what you said, man, when you see people and you kind of help them out and then they start winning, bro, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
That's the greatest feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see a lot of that with whenever I see my brother advancing at the pace that he is, or
because you definitely had something to do with it.
I don't really tell him that, but
you can't say it.
I don't. You're
just happy.
He knows and I know. I actually, there's a funny story about that. I'm actually big into like streetwear and sneakers and stuff like that as well. And I had recently, not that it directly relates, but I have a Supreme skateboard deck.
Okay.
That I had gotten recently. I think it was this year that I got it. And I basically collect a lot of and resell a lot of artwork. I resell a lot of sneakers and stuff like that.
I gotta connect you with somebody. I know a guy that does that. Might make sense.
Yeah, maybe. The skateboard though, it says I had an investment partner come over to my place and I showed him as well. And it's funny, before I could even say it or tell him the meaning behind it. The skateboard it's from Supreme. I'm sure you've heard of that brand. Mm-hmm. I'm sure people would say that that brand's dying off and stuff like that, but they got some cool things here and there. It says you was raised off our shit. And before I could even say anything, my partner was like, "Oh, you should just stick this in your brother's room, right there on his wall." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not really that type of person where I'm just gonna rub it in your face." Like, yeah, without me, you're nothing. Sometimes whenever we're butting heads, something like that might come out. But I mean, I'm the older brother, so I get that perk.
It's a different relationship when you're brothers. Like what like with some of my people, I don't like. I would never do that. Mm-hmm. But like even with like Tyler, it's like he made the introduction, but I ran with it. Mm-hmm. So you can introduce someone to real estate or whatever. If they don't run with it, they're not going to run with it.
Yeah. No, I think my brother's definitely got the potential, and he can do whatever he wants, and I think he's got the leader in him as well, and I think a lot of people do. You just got to tap into it, and you got to hunker down and just get at it, and if that means you got to sacrifice, which what I say a lot of times, if you got to sacrifice your 20s, which I pretty much don't even remember most of my 20s because it's just been dedicated towards work and bettering myself for the most part. I mean, sure, in the early 20s, everybody's having a blast in college and stuff like that, but I think I walked away from that pretty early on as well.
So what was it like when you were in Texas? Are you partying?
Yeah, here and there.
Was that like the main phase of partying?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much only did it like a year.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah, people usually do it like the whole time.
Yeah.
Or at least like maybe a quarter a year. Like every single year of college, and maybe there's like this one semester that like they're just blowing off completely. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they'll do it at the front end and the back end. But I mean, I think I only did it for like a semester for the most part. And then I just pretty much stayed to myself. I mean, I couldn't really do it because I had already began my path to bodybuilding and, exercise and fitness and stuff like that.
Doesn't mix.
Yeah, and me being as hard on myself as I am, I mean, I'm like, oh man, I party this much. Like, all right, I got to get back in the gym, and you got to stop doing this stuff. So
yeah,
I guess I just was my own mentor for the most part in that sense, and just talked myself out of a lot of that stuff.
One thing you mentioned earlier was sometimes people come to you for advice, and you know they're not going to take action if you tell them.
Yeah.
What's funny is I've had that situation too, where sometimes people come to me for advice and I spill all the beans because I know they're not going to take the action.
Yeah,
it's like I can tell you, hey,
Yeah.
this is exactly what you do. I know you're still not going to do it, which is funny.
I usually, I mean, maybe I just feel it in my gut that they will or they won't, but I mean, I'm not going to judge them and say, you're not going to do it, but I'll freely give you advice, and then if I see that you're not even taking action, I'm like, listen, maybe after you take a couple steps in the right direction, maybe you should come back to me after that and scrape your knees a couple times, make some mistakes or whatever it may be. They've got to show me that they're actually
They're serious.
Yeah.
I want to know you're serious. It's like if I don't want to spend my time with people who are not serious.
Yeah, I mean, that's in pretty much all every single aspect of my life. I mean, if you're not bettering yourself in one way or another, and trying to make the right choices, whether it's professionally or personally, or maybe it's with your family or whatever it may be. I mean, I usually tend to allocate a really small amount of time to that group of people. So, I mean, maybe worst case, those people are, we talked about it earlier, they could lead you to people that could be useful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I usually try not to be as closed-minded and say no so much. Sometimes you might get the chance of a lifetime if you do end up. I mean, I usually don't expect too much from a lot of the meetups and networking events, and then we met at one. So
yeah, it's funny, man. That week I had a lot of positive encounters from events because a successful week for me usually consists of 4 to 5 networking events a week. Sometimes I get busy and I don't go to one.
That's a lot. 4 to 5.
4 to 5, yeah. 4 to 5
yeah,
is my goal.
I can barely do 1 to 2 a month.
It's I also, for me personally, it's provided a lot of value for just what I'm able to get and give.
I think they're valuable. Yeah,
100%.
I do see a lot of people whenever it comes to some of these events, specifically real estate. There definitely can be a lot of people that are new in the field that will attend them, but maybe they're just trying to pick your brain, or they're just trying to learn the ins and outs, and obviously they're not going to learn it in a day.
Right.
Maybe they are looking for that mentor or someone to point them in the right direction. But there was one specific person that, they say they read all the books, they watch all the videos, they listen to this person, that person, or they take classes or something like that. But pretty much does every single thing, but besides take action.
That's the worst. And that drives me crazy because I can be that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I told them, I'm like, stop it. I told them straight up, you got to stop, do something. There's all these people here. You got to take action. You got to go follow them, bother them, do whatever you got to do, but get your foot in the door. Kick the door open, break it down, do whatever you got to do. But you got to take action now. Like, put all that stuff down. Put the books down. Put the computer down, or whatever it is.
He's pregnant with information.
He's what?
He's pregnant. Like, he
Pregnant.
like,
That's the first.
No, you know everything. Like, there's no, like, you know, or not everything. You know enough.
Yeah.
You know enough to go do something, and you're going to learn by failing or whatever the case is. And, I mean, I say that because I've been watching podcasts. Like, it's what we bonded on. I watch a lot of podcasts. I like reading a lot of audiobooks, reading books, listening to, people like Patrick, Joe Rogan, Andrew. It's like we absorb this information, and it's like we're pretty in tune.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, it doesn't matter how in tune you are if you're not taking any action.
Yeah, pregnant with, would you say
pregnant with information, man. That's what my mentor tells me. Because anytime we're not like shit's not happening, he'll be like, y'all are pregnant with information. Stop reading books, stop watching podcasts, go do something. And I'm like, you're right. He goes, pick up the phone, make some calls. I'm like, okay, cool.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm going to have to start telling people that.
The people are pregnant with information.
Yeah, it's pretty.
What else is on your mind, man? What else is on your mind?
Let's see. I never actually read something off my phone. I just stared at it. When I pulled it out, then I just thought, like, wait a minute. I don't really know too much about you, so let's see. No, I just got an ending note. Whenever we do decide to wrap this up, I got a little something for people to think about. I don't know if you do that at the end.
No, absolutely. I'll always, I would definitely give you, allow you to, have your closing thoughts. I'm trying to think of what do you want to talk about, man? This is our first time really hanging out and talking,
Yeah.
which is why I love doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Because we can sit down, have a conversation.
Mhm.
Let me ask you, what type of I mean, we could talk about office online, but like, what type of business do you think that we might be able to help each other advance in?
You and I together?
Yeah,
Let me think. Definitely.
because we had a call
Mhm.
and we were talking about using the arbitrage. Strategy.
Self-directed IRAs with
Yeah.
combining them with infinite banking
Yeah,
with life insurance. So what we talked about was funding real estate deals with that method. And mainly what we talked about was multifamily. And obviously you can branch out into a lot of other different things. But if we're talking something brand new that we could do, it would not be a startup. That's just one of my things that I learned from building startups. I own multiple companies, just not the residential development firm. I have the commercial side of things. I have my resale business. It's all held by a holding company, so we don't have to go into too much detail about that and bore everybody about the corporate structuring of things and all this legal garbage. But, I mean, it's a lot of work doing a startup.
I agree.
It's the main reason. I mean, there's so much time and energy that goes into it, and I mean, you're gonna definitely get gray hairs. I think buying a business is the best way to go. And I was actually talking to one of my business partners about that. He's he's based in New York, and he's very hell bent on getting into the small business and medium-sized business space, whether it's laundromats or car washes is what my brother wants to get into.
been hearing good things about car washes.
Yeah, I think small business has, if you want cash flow, if that's your bread and butter, if you want money coming in and out like instantly, turnkey. I'm sure you've heard of turnkey properties, turnkey businesses. That
Car
and real
wash.
estate, I think they're right there. And a lot of people would argue that small business is better than real estate, but I mean, I like them both.
It's good to have diversity.
And insurance, I know everyone. One of my friends that works with me, invests with me, is an insurance guy. He does the commercial insurance stuff for mainly all my real estate stuff. But he definitely would say that real estate is one of those big guys up there too.
Yeah. I don't think just to be clear, I don't think a startup is any of my interests either.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. I think the fastest way to scale, whether it's a small business or maybe you want to have your own insurance company and have a bunch of other agents underneath you. If you want your own PHP, is it?
PHP as a platform.
PHP and or a real estate development firm or whatever it may be, flipping business. I think the fastest way to get there is to partner with someone that's already doing it.
Exactly. That's the best thing, man. Like Patrick has built everything.
Yeah.
It's literally a turnkey business. So it's kind of like what you were speaking on earlier. It's like if you don't know what to do, find someone who knows what to do and provide value, ask questions. And then once you do that and they give you the value, take action. Show them that you took action, because then it shows them, hey, they're listening. I'm willing to pour in more.
Yeah, I mean, if you show that you're willing to give more than before you ask, usually people are going to be like, why is this guy bothering me so much and giving all of this, whether it's time or money or lending a hand physically? I mean, eventually they're going to come around and say, hey, you're doing all this for me. You're giving all this, insert whatever they're doing for them. They're going to turn around and say, all right, what do you want? What can I do for you now? So
it's better to be clear up front.
Yeah.
It's better to be clear up front, and then so that way everyone knows what type of intention you're moving with, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I meant was like, if you keep giving, they will see the value in you, and now they're going to give you whatever you want.
Got you. Much. No, 100%. I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Cool, man. We're at 1:15. What's your closing thoughts?
I wanted people to think on this. What if it turns out better than you thought? Yeah. What if things turn out better than what you expected? It's a pretty deep way to end the podcast.
I love it, man. I mean, I completely agree. I think things will be better. Things can be better than what you even expected.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to make $1 million, what if you make $1 billion? It could be a pretty cool outcome.
Well, million's not that big anymore.
Yeah, I mean, To some, even $1 billion's not that big.
Yeah,
I think it's attainable.
I think so too.
It's just a mindset thing, man. People sometimes laugh at it, but you're in the wrong circle if they're laughing.
We'll see who's laughing at the end. All right, Mr. Raj, thank you, sir.
Yep, appreciate it.
Gotcha.